first question on this auspicious occasion. How does it feel to be inducted into the Oregon Music Hall of Fame?
I have no idea. I had no idea this is going to happen.
It's just,
it's an event. I'm glad somebody suggested this. I mean, maybe we'll run into somebody that we know. Think much, maybe.
it could happen.
You got something, John.
I'm just astonished. That's all. When I found out that there was even a record of us having performed here anywhere, that was news to me that anybody would be interested. Although I did know about the Hall of Fame because one of the Freak Mountain Ramblers that I knew personally, I knew several of them personally, actually. I played music with a couple of them, and on a irregular basis, I guess now, since the Great Plague. But before that, we played probably every month or so, and in the vicinity for a few years. I replaced Billy Holtz on the washboard with a band called Richard Cranium and the Foreheads. Foreheads is P-H-O-R-E-H-E-A-D-S. Anyhow, that's quite the band, and I was honored to be included. Even if it meant playing an instrument with which I had very little familiarity at first. So I'm still a journeyman washboard player,
So
occasional harp player.
What would you like people seeing this to know about your band?
It originated in Seattle in the University District when we all met each other. There was 4 or 5 coffee houses up there, and we're all single kind. We would just play and sing alone. The only band that I remember was the Turkey Pluckers, bluegrass band.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Then we got a hold of some records of early blues and jug band music, and we studied those pretty hard. Paul and some other people that didn't endure, or that won't be here either.
No, won't be anywhere. Like Jerry Murray, he's long gone.
Yeah, and Steve Mork.
And Mork
He was
is
from
long
Seattle.
gone.
Yeah, so we got right together in a laundromat a lot of times, and it was right in the district. It was a nice neighborhood because there was, I think, 5 coffee houses that had live music, and so we all were folk players. And then when we found out about jug band music, we were surprised.
Hey.
That a jug could be even
Oh!
played.
Yeah.
Hang on just a sec. There's someone else out there.
That looks like Paul Bassett.
Paul
to me.
Bassett, it is. All right, cool. How do you feel? I mean, as part of this amazing group, how do you feel about the Oregon Music Hall of Fame induction?
It's about time. Yeah. What can I say? I'm seldom speechless, but that's great.
So it feels good. So when you guys found out about this, I think you said you didn't even quite know what it was, right? I mean, so when...
I only knew that it was a process, and that friends of mine had suffered this process, I guess, and that was as much as I knew, and it seemed like it was mostly, from what I understood, tuned into people that were playing these days, that there was no historic reference. And actually I had a question, and I would love to find a list somewhere. Maybe it would be good if they put it if you could see it on the website, of previous inductees over the last 10, 15 years, however many it's been, because I lived in Portland and played here in the 60s as a single act before the PH Phactor started up in Seattle, and I remember a lot of the players from those days, and I would just love to know how many of them possibly made the list, you know.
I can tell you for sure that on their website, omhof.org,
Yeah.
there is a list of all the inductees from every year that they've been doing.
Oh, terrific.
You can find that.
I will do that
Yeah,
then. Thank
check
you.
it out. You're welcome. What would you like the people who are watching this to know about your music and how? I mean, I know a little bit about jug band music, a little bit, but I mean, talk to me about just the genre itself.
Jug bands were the proto blues bands and rock bands of today, you know, and I just can't say enough about those fellas back then that braved all this bullshit, and this music form has developed into blues, you know, and the modern American music, period.
It was something that was, I mean, the jug bands, you know, they were very portable because they played on the street. They also offered a lot of social commentary in their music, and especially for the day. And I was interested in that right away because it made me actually do some research into what was going on in the 20s and 30s in the black communities in the South. You know, the Memphis and all those places where the music seemed to originate from, and mostly the Mississippi River corridor. And it's still amazing. I mean, it's made a good listener out of me to sit down and try to decipher some lyrics, you know, to see, God, what did they mean by that? You know, I mean, there is a marvelous use of language. I mean, and they were having to get published or print, you know, recorded by, you know, white people from at the time, and they had to get these lyrics past those people, you know, uncensored, and, you know, so when the guy's saying, you know, you're going down, you know, ask anybody about that brand new dance, you know, he meant something that you might not interpret as something you'd find on the dance floor. It was real interesting that way. There were a lot of insinuations and very clever use of language, you know, more than I would have expected. I mean, compared to the, you know, music of the time that was being performed and recorded by white musicians, it was way more interesting to me, way more fascinating, and had a lot more depth, you know, going on.
Stealing